All right, I'll go through these two examples for the inclusion-exclusion criteria. So let's see what these two papers or what these two studies have covered. So here in the table, you can see that, so the inclusion criteria is listed here, exclusion is listed here. So what is the inclusion criteria? Publication type, it should be available as a full text, articles, reviews, and proceedings paper. So this is what there is inclusion criteria. Language should be English. Time period is every year. This is a little bit vague. Actually, it will be better that whatever the year is, you specify that clearly. Research discipline, any area. Again, this is also a bit broad. Ideally, you should mention the examples of the names of the discipline. Now, in this publication type here, they have any other publication is excluded, like books, edited volumes, working papers, and any other language. So this is what I was mentioning earlier on, that this is not really a good example of inclusion. Inclusion is okay, but exclusion is just a replication of inclusion. So that really does not tell me much more than what is already here. What do they have here? A requirement for conducting SLR is a concise description for the inclusion-exclusion. As an article, inclusion criteria were adopted. Articles with defined time frame, English language, full text availability, resulting in 318 scientific articles. Articles that were not related to CE in the built environment were excluded. So that is one example of inclusion-exclusion criteria. Okay, so the next thing is, next example is by Dina. What do they have here? Studies are considered eligible for inclusion if the paper was a peer-reviewed. So that is one criteria. It was a primary research article or an empirical paper, qualitative, quantitative research, was conducted in the last 20 years. Participants were first generation refugees or asylum seekers. So this has gone to look into who the actual participants are in the study, who were in a transit country and whose migration status was not final. So this is the last two are examples of studies that addressing a specific criteria, and that is how they have included, who are aged 16 years or older, and the study explored any enablers of psychological well-being. There are 7 inclusion criteria here. Exclusion. Studies were excluded if they were not peer reviewed, not primary research articles, that is, could be review papers, opinions, editorials. Participants were not first generation refugees and were 16 years or younger. So this is again kind of replicating what was there earlier on, and so on. So you can see the inclusion and the exclusion criteria are very nicely mentioned here. Okay, I'll take one more. Okay, so the inclusion criteria actually I think is in this paragraph here. Okay, only peer-reviewed academic journals, only results in English, results classified according to their relevance, 80 to 2017. Okay, so that is what I think is the inclusion criteria in this paper. All articles chosen were published in academic journals. 2000 was chosen the first year because I think this kind of a justification also you can provide. I think that is useful to give why you selected that particular year. All right, so I will just leave this one. You all can then add later on, so all of you can see examples of different types of inclusion-exclusion criteria that you can use.